here because it's Karandrin role playing again. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 53 of Brise's Tale, and this is Karandrin role playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Crack Palantir. I'll be your host and game master for tonight. And as always, I am joined by my buddy Max, who will be playing Brise the Paladin. Max, say hello to the lovely people.
Hello, everybody. It's we're off to a good start. I spelled jeweler as jeweler, so I think it's gonna be a good session. I need to see the jeweler.
That's right.
Anyway, hope you're all doing well tonight and ready for some role playing.
Some Karandrin role playing. Where we left off last time, you had a meeting with the court magician of Lady Miagral's court magician, and she, that is the woman's name is the wizard's name is Fraudrum. She is a dark dwarf magician of some power, but someone that you feel is on the right side of things. And she was confronting you about this strange rat that has been creeping about the place and trying to get answers about that. And of course, that's where you let her know that Kralum is a powerful demon who is simply taking the possession of rats as his only means. But what you left off is the fact that the person who trapped Kralum, Verilag, is still very much alive and in operation.
Right.
She has sort of reasoned out that you've left something out. Unless, of course, you're going to lie to her and tell her, no, this demon's power is being drained for some other purpose. Her reasoning being that Fraudrum's reasoning being that the power has to go somewhere. Otherwise, Kralum isn't being drained and Kralum could free himself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either going to some sort of magical project that's just absorbing his power, or you've lied to her.
It's going to my Bitcoin mining machine.
That's it.
I think I already made that joke last time, but
I like that though. I like that's a good one. So she, when she reaches this sort of conclusion, she stands and she says, "So that means either you're lying to me, or Adabir is lying to you."
Mm-hmm.
And I will know the truth.
Yeah, one other thing she did present, which was interesting, was that Kralum is probably making his own dealings, doing his own, dirty work. So technically,
making contacts, making deals.
Yeah, another contradiction is freeing him in the long run might actually be worse, because then now he has all these contacts in this realm that he can reach out to, or they can summon him and start this process all over again, because he just doesn't learn.
Demons are incorrigible, as my mother
that's a
good
way to describe it. So yeah, let's get into it. Right. So she just where is kind of demands that, and so I need to find out how I'm going to tell her about Verilag. Now I just want to see, do I want to leave anything out about Verilag, or just tell her the whole story?
I mean, what aspect of Verilag's?
I don't like taking the blame for being the one who kind of exposed her prison, right? I mean, I'm kind of blameless in a way. I was just exploring, but
it certainly wasn't intentional.
Right. And then also, because then people also make the connection between me and Verilag, because I can leave that out too. Yeah. So let's just start off talking about Verilag as a sorceress. So I do mention that I didn't. It's unfortunate. The story is a little more complex. I didn't mean to deceive or lie. Only push this issue a bit because it's difficult to discuss, and that is that the person who trapped Crowlum is indeed still alive, um, and they are making plans. And drawing that power from them.
A being with a lifespan of 5,000 years, or a being who's extended their lifespan to 5,000 years?
Being who is imprisoned for that time, just as Crowlum was. And
What do you know of this being?
Okay, well, I'll tell her, just everything I know about Verilag and all the research I've done. So I'm keeping out that I've, have a connection with Verilag just for now, just saying
Okay.
who she is factually, as a person.
She sort of plops heavily down back on her chair. She picks up a sandwich from the table between you.
Throws it at the wall.
She munches on the sandwich. You see her reputation for being a little untidy. Is
Yeah.
there's just crumbs that fall down. She doesn't even bother with them, and she's just thinking. So now you are telling me that there is a being alive draining the power of a realm lord for 5,000 years. Did you tell her she was imprisoned?
Yes, I just mentioned being who's imprisoned for that time. And I want to emphasize, plotting currently,
Making connections.
Right.
And you think, again, that this Verilag, she doesn't have the capability of tracing Kralum here to the keep to find that her prisoner has, in some minor way, escaped. It never occurred to you that she could track Kralum's presence here and lay waste to the town. A thoughtful sip from Brise and a thoughtful smack from Brise. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, well, what I'll say is that I've been, what's the word? I've been speaking with Crowlum, for a while, and that doesn't seem the case. He doesn't seem to have. She doesn't seem to find him.
But you can't know. And with his limited abilities, he can't know. At any moment, she could arrive, tracing her convict's spiritual imprint here. And what were you going to do if she arrives on our doorstep?
Is there a way I can argue?
There's 450 people in the keep. There's 3,000 or so in the town. What were you going to do, young Brise, when she comes here, angrily wondering why Kralum's presence is somehow here right beside you?
I don't think I can argue against that, unless I were to say that no, because yeah, she would be very concerned about the work we're doing. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll have to bring up my connection with Verilag then, right? Unless I don't know if there's anything else I can think of that would.
I don't know that that's going to, I mean, it's not an answer to her question.
Well, no, the answer is that Verilag trusts me. That's the
Oh, I see what you mean.
yeah. The answer would be that well, she doesn't because she thinks I'm loyal to her. But wait, so she's asking that why Verilag doesn't
Why
trust
are
me.
you like
Right, I see.
the idea being that, you've endangered us all? What was your backup plan for that? I mean, she's trying to demonstrate how irresponsible you've been, leaving a trail of breadcrumbs
Yeah.
to, the doorstep of 3,500 people who have nothing to do with any of this.
Right. I mean, I could just shift the blame to Adabir. I'm like, it was his idea to come here. Well, okay. I think I will do that. I'm a little bit still peeved at Adabir anyway for everything he's kind of put me through. So.
Well, and of course, in a sense, that she's asking a question for which there is no answer.
Right. So.
Right. That she's trying to get you to confront your culpability.
Sure. Okay.
And, so it doesn't matter so much.
It's almost like I don't need to answer her question. I just need to deflect it or answer a different.
Or get her advice. I mean,
interesting.
she's in the fold now. She's obviously concerned about all of this. You've sensed that she had very good intentions, that she has very good intentions.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Really sharp as a tack, and very knowledgeable. Possibly the smartest person you've met thus far. I mean, you wonder about Miagral, like how cunning she is, right? But this is cunning and a vast amount of knowledge.
And powerful magic.
Right. Personal power, not just sort of extended political power, right?
Right.
That
I like that idea. I didn't even think about that, but appealing to her kind of in a way.
Well, because you guys are in the same boat now. You don't have any wish to see the goblins harmed either.
Right.
Not, there may be particular ones that would be okay if they had a mountain slammed on them, but by and large, you would like the goblins, and you don't want to see a town wiped out either.
No.
So own up to it and ask what you do.
Yeah. I mean, I say that, when Adabir presented the idea of coming here, perhaps I was too short-sighted, and thought that we wouldn't be putting as many people in danger as I thought. So I guess I am at a loss about what to do if this does fail.
Adabir's reputation is one of an eccentric, but a well-meaning one. Eccentric, at least in the sense of his research goals. But even you, someone so unskilled in magic, can see that if you fail to succeed with a tiny demon, the next step is not to then attempt your experiments with one of the most powerful beings we've ever encountered.
Some would argue that. You have a good point.
I know that he put your two wizard friends up to the chopping block because they wish to intervene in his plans. Cora Kyle, the Eagle, told me that much. I have not been able to find them. I assume that they are gone. But more importantly, I assume they mean us no harm. What was their plan? Assumingly they had one.
Yes, I do. I'm scrolling up through my notes. They actually had some ideas. Do you recall?
It
Da-da.
was to seek this giant insect far east of your location now. This giant insect that Plesh fought as a young wizard.
Oh, right,
Actually, I mean, as a relatively young wizard, he was still rather powerful then. And it bit through his mithril sword.
right.
And so it occurred to them if they could capture those creatures.
But yeah, I do mention that. Their plan is to try to release Crowlem post haste, and they do have an avenue they're pursuing.
Are you going to describe the avenue or just leave it at that?
Yeah, I'll describe that. What they told me.
I've never encountered them,
Yeah.
but the Gwalnir are supposedly capable of eating almost any metal.
Walnir. I listen to metal, but now that's eating metal. That's another
Right.
whole other ballgame. Okay.
Um,
Hopefully that kind of convinced her a little.
she stands, crumbs just, cascade down her robes. She turns to um, a desk in the corner, goes there, finds you parchment and pen and ink and Aquilin ink and plops them down, slides the sandwiches out of the way and plops them down in front of me. She goes, I need you to write down everything you know about Adabir's plans and what he has succeeded at, and everything you know about Plesh and his plan. Everything, every detail. And then I must find a way to convince Plesh that I had nothing to do with the attack on him and his colleague, and we must further his plan as quickly as possible.
I think that is agreeable.
And she looks hard at you and she says, you have a good heart. I sensed that about you the first time I saw you. Is there anything you're not telling me?
Can I get just an insight from her, like about
Sure, roll it up.
84?
She's on the level. She's as good as they come, and she sees further than most.
Hey, Quinn, like the new Among Us icon. We're just continuing the discussion with Fraldrum. I've revealed that Verilag is alive and that she is draining Crown's power and making plans. Not revealed that I have a connection to her. And I don't know. That's a good role, and I do feel good. But it's a good. This might be a self discipline role. So because one, I don't like lying. I'm kind of an honest person. But two, I'm also not very trustworthy. I'm not very trusting other
Right.
people. So I feel like those two things are battling within me.
Right.
I don't know if we want to maybe do a roll for if I decide.
If you're torn, yes.
I am. So I think I'll do a roll.
Now, what do you place the odds at? Do you think it's a straight 50-50 roll? Are you leaning?
Good point. I think I'm leaning towards. It's really hard. It's
And
really hard.
make it 50-50.
50-50, right? So higher than that, I do tell her about Verilag, that there is a connection between her and me. And lower than that, I withhold that information. And so let's roll it up. That's a 100. Okay. All right, fine. I was gonna get out of this meeting and we're gonna call it a day, but I guess I just push the pen and paper away and say, you know what? I'm done being dishonest with you. You called them. I don't know.
Well,
Wow.
it
Wow.
does kind of make sense in a sense, right? You were told at the very beginning of this, someone gave you advice to seek the wise.
True. Very long
Uh,
time. Right.
and she certainly seems to fit that bill.
Even more so than like Adabir and some of the others.
Right.
Yeah.
They are definitely knowledgeable, but clearly, oh, that's hilarious. That's
Indian
hilarious.
food? I don't get it. Would you say that she would want Indian food? Asking for a friend.
I I'll let you know.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Yeah. No. That does make a lot of sense. This is a wise person who cares about me, and I can definitely trust her. Well, maybe not trust her with this information, but know that she'll take it to heart and will use the best ways. So,
right. That
together.
I mean, as hard as it is for you to do so with anyone, you are coming to trust her.
Right.
Did you see Quinn's comment about lawyering up before she dumps your phone logs?
Yeah, I'll need a magic lawyer.
That's right. Was an old
Those eagles, they have a pretty sharp eye.
there was an old Magic the Gathering card called demonic tutor, demonic attorney. Can get you one of those.
To reveal the facts I've left out. So I pushed the pen and paper away and I said, okay, how do I say? I've decided that I'm going to tell you more stuff.
I had hoped you would. And
Yeah.
she sits and just looks at you kindly and just waits for you.
So I'll just start off talking about, Verlang's imprisonment, that Win was in prison, and that I was the one who ended up breaking her prison. I'll describe, the lake, wandering across it, spiritual kind of guardians. Right.
She nods and she says, "A prison of souls. That must be a terrible burden that you've carried."
Yes. Manifest a burden that manifests directly. Yes.
And she must then have a piece of you, and you must have a piece of her.
That is right. I'm glad you understand that.
Well, then, to stop you just for a moment, here is a little ace in the hole that you may not realize you have, and I'm certain Verilag doesn't know.
She stabs me.
Um, that means you also have a piece of every soul that was around that lake
Ow.
inside of you. And that is the only reason that she hasn't taken you over.
What?
Surely
Oh.
it must have occurred to you that if she could take over a powerful magician or whomever, why not take you over?
Well, right.
And that is why. It also means that she has a piece of all of those souls, those guardian souls inside of her.
Hmm.
And they are restraining her worst instincts. But it also means that you can call upon those souls and the piece of your soul if you ever confront Verlag directly and your ruse is up. I don't know how much it will help.
Hmm. To call upon their power, I guess that's something that I will just have to know in the moment, right? That's not something I can learn or comprehend or practice.
It
It
would be
seems.
to literally call to them
Hmm.
for help and call to your part of yourself inside of her for help.
Wow. Huh. I tell her that's the first person who's told that to me. That's very must be extremely knowledgeable and wise to. Well, I kind of just out of curiosity. It's like, are you familiar with this type of magic then?
I came across it in tales some 120 years ago. And then I read about an actual case of it that failed,
Hmm.
attempted by a remnant of dwarves living far north of here.
Hmm.
I have to assume that this spell must be, or this prison must be one of the first of its kind, and that later versions were attempted, and it is those that I read about.
Okay. So I'll go on to mention that um, I have, you know, mentioned that I have spoken with Verilag several times, and I've gained her trust, and that is kind of that explains why I'm so confident in that.
That was your ace in the hole that you did know about.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Um,
That she, um, yeah, trusts me to be loyal to her and not to work against her. Um, and I, say over time, she's stopped even, visiting me. Um, it's been several weeks. Um, well, I won't say how long, but it's been,
why would you hold back now?
I just don't want to mention that she can get into the keep. I don't know because if she brings that up.
Well, I mean, if anyone needs to know, isn't it this
I mean,
woman?
that's true. Okay. I did roll 100. Okay, that's right. So I do say that I last I saw her was several weeks ago. She did come into the keep and she did appear here, but she seemed to want nothing of it. Um,
So
you know,
she checks on you then?
yes. I say there is, I guess, a small shred of suspicion that um, because I am such a key to her, power, to retaining her power, that she, wants to ensure my well-being and that I'm, um, you know, continuously loyal to her.
Yes. If you were to die, she would be thrown back in her prison.
Right.
She is a little bit of filth stuck to the bottom of your shoe. And wherever you walk, you carry her with you. that she was able to enter the castle undetected, I suppose, is to my shame, but given the power that we are facing, I'll deal with my punishment later. Oh my God.
Bruce.
It's a home movies joke where I say, so you're planning a ruse. A ruse? You mean ruse? What's wrong with you? Wait, am I smarter than you? Because I knew how to pronounce that word and you didn't.
Am I smarter than you?
That's so great. Um,
Right.
are you going to mention that she can track you wherever you are? That she sort of generally knows. She used to know exactly
Yes.
where you were.
Yes, she does. Yeah, I do. I mean, that's implied by her, tell you about the keep. And, I say she does seem to have able to pinpoint me, generally to find out
Although it's become more difficult after some
countermeasures. Yeah. After seeking the help of, well, yeah, I don't have to go into that, but
well, all right then. I suppose you leaving the keep won't be particularly suspicious. She's allowing you to explore the world.
right. And she already knows I'm in this area. By away from the keep, it's not a big deal.
But Kralum is here. And has she ever shown any sign that she's worried that Kralum has escaped?
Yes. And I'll tell her about the incident with the eagles, I guess is the best way to describe that. Well, no, wait, hold on. I haven't even talked about Helm's prison. What would be the best way to discuss that?
Well, I mean, the fact that you can just wait for her to ask you the details about the prison. She has to assume there's some sort of prison, right?
Right. So, Crown does have a prison, and there was an attempt. And I spoke with Korokal first before meeting the council. I'll describe. They attempted to break Kralum free themselves by throwing huge stones at him and ended up injuring him, and then that caused her to appear at the prison. From the details I got from the Eagles the first time.
Those were the wounds on his body that I saw. On Korokal's body.
Yes. When Verlag appeared, she did confront the Eagles and did them great harm.
Well, I must think in all that you've told me. Well, go about your business, I assume. I have no specific plan yet.
I want. Do I tell her then that I have access to the prison and have gotten the tomes, because I do want those tomes to be also read by other people besides Adabir?
Yes, you should say that.
Yeah, so I will. I'll say there's one more thing I can add. It's that I do have access to Kralum's prison, and it's why Adabir's plans have been successful this far.
You can enter the prison because you carry her soul.
Exactly, and because I saw it in a vision, and I'm able to teleport there.
One day I will need you to take me there. Do you want to mention the tomes?
Yes, I'm kind of waiting for her. I don't want to
Yeah.
give
No,
it
no.
all at once. I wanted to let her roll. So then I do mention that it's possible. I've already been there twice, and on the second attempt, I did manage to, with the illusionist Batharin, we managed to secure the tomes that were found there, and then replace them with an illusion. Right now, they're sitting in Adabir's office, his room. Very valuable information. I wasn't able to, obviously share with anyone else.
She grips her chair and stares at you. And she's like, what illusionist do you think can fool someone like this Verilag?
Well, I mean, I would say, how would I word it? That
She just stops you. What are these spell books that would cause you and the apprentices to take such a ridiculous risk?
well, they are spells for. I'll just tell her spells for probably the construction of the prison in his Kralm's chains that bind him there, and for draining his power, is what I was able to infer. If they can reverse these spells, then that might be our ticket out of here.
Adabir is blinded by his research. The sheer level of power that Verilag wielded when she initially cast those spells couldn't be managed by a healthy young wizard. It would kill them. It would sap them so greatly. It would fatigue them so much that they would slip away and never return.
Mm. Yeah, they did seem pretty powerful.
There is every possibility that the moment she returns, she will know that her tomes are gone.
I can't deny that.
And that will bring her here. Where you are. Your freedom will be at an end, and so will every standing stone in this keep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an errand that would take you out of the keep?
Well, absolutely. I'm going into town for any reason. I have free access, Create an illusion of the tomes in Adamir's room, and then and he's like, "Oh,
These pages are blank. I don't understand.
my hand goes through the book.
That's right.
What's going on?"
It's easy reading. Um, you must be gone by at least tomorrow morning. I'm not sure I can really act before then anyway. But I can't promise anything. but I will attempt to keep your name out of the ears of both Atterbeer and her ladyship.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't. So I'm thinking of if I could even return the tomes, if that's even a possibility. But I mean, I would have to get access to Atavir's room, which he
Right.
has to be awake, to do that. And then just like grab the tomes and rush out of there. That wouldn't really make any sense.
I mean, it would work.
It would work, but yeah, I don't know what the risk is.
But the risk
Certainly,
is
I wouldn't be coming back to the keep. I wouldn't be coming back to Aldrif.
right.
Um, so I just tell her, oh, I mean, all right, I hope the tomes can be returned, as quick as possible. I'm sure.
You haven't mentioned to her that whatever happens also puts Aldrif at risk. If stuff goes down.
Right.
I don't mean in terms of blame. I mean literally flying debris.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no telling what's going to shake out in the next few hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would word that, I guess, the way to be is, well, whatever happens, I'd ask that the Taylor Aldrif is protected, spared from anything. If you could, have him.
The young man who was courting you.
Yes. I mean, the young man, yes.
I will see to him immediately.
Like, good or bad? I guess good, right? She will make sure he's safe.
As you've no doubt guessed, we're many miles from the keep here in my cottage.
Right.
He will have one of my guest rooms.
Okay.
Immediately.
Okay.
I think it's time I have a new wardrobe, don't you?
All right, that's a big upgrade. Was a tailor for city, now he's a tailor for royal court, and now he's a tailor for archmage. Very high-ranking wizard.
Yeah, don't say archmage. That's an actual type of mage.
Well, that's what I always forget if that's a type of mage or that's a status of mage.
So archmage, in game terms, which we try to avoid using anyway, an archmage in my rollmaster is someone who can cast out of all of the realms of magic, channeling, mentalism, and essence, but they can't cast any of the professional list. Like they can't cast wizard spells. So they have the completely wide. They're sort of the generalist.
I see.
And then you have
interesting.
And
that's a very misleading term. I thought they were like the highest mage. It was like a rank you.
Well, in the sense that they are not restricted by realm.
And I guess technically they would be more skilled by having done all that research. You can't have like a low level, inexperienced archmage. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, you can't have an unstudied one.
Unstudied, yeah.
Yeah, because they would really have to know all three realms, and they would. I mean, it's exceedingly rare. I've never had one in the game. And also, there's then there's Elder Mage, which is someone who studies the ancient magics of arcane, and so,
okay, interesting. Well, then, yeah, I guess I'll just do another perception roll. Does it seem like she's going to?
I don't think you need one.
Okay.
I don't think you need one.
Seriously, yeah. So then I'll just thank you, and I very much appreciate it. So gone by tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'll have my things packed and leaving the keep then, as if I'm running an errand, and we will see what happens then.
Yes. If I were to approach one of his apprentices in confidence about my concerns, are any of them reasonable?
Don't approach Tegriv. I'll warn against Tegriv, saying that I think it's quite possible he's willing to betray this whole plot for any grasp at power
Through Verilag.
through Verilag, right? And then I mentioned Doshrik seems to be the kindest and the most reasonable of the three. And Matherin is unconscious. I don't need to bring her up.
Well, I mean, any piece of information that you give her, but that's up to you. For instance, well, roll for me.
Okay. 48.
That's right on the cusp. So, for instance, if you say that Matherin is really on edge about all this stuff and about the danger of what you're doing, then that gives Fraldrum an approach to Matherin saying, "Yeah, look, what they're doing is crazy dangerous. You should quit." And that's one less apprentice. That's one apprentice out of the way.
That's true. I'm still kind of on the fence about. I don't know if it's me, like the player, or Brise, like just about Adabir and his plan, whether it still is viable or not. I guess it's already been. There's been 3 wizards who've already kind of, basically shaking their heads at him and saying, "I don't think it's going to work." So maybe it's
right. It's a long shot to work, but I mean, this is the first specific example of this is a specific reason why it could never work. Like he doesn't have the strength to cast the spells to do what he needs to do.
Right. So, why don't I bring that up first? Is that, you did mention that, he has just started looking at these tomes. Could he maybe come to the conclusion himself that, you don't think he will take that much of a risk his own life for this?
As soon as he gets to the tier of magic required, he should know. If he finds the spell that involves draining, and if it's a 30th tier, a 40th tier, a 50th tier spell,
75.
casting such a spell, and mind you, that's the minimum power you have to put into it.
Right.
A 50th level spell is exhausting. You're confused a little bit afterwards. It's ironic that their power is what makes them almost unusable. He may have to put yet more power into it to affect such a being as Kralum. There's no way a man of his age can sustain that.
Sure, and that's what I'm saying. Don't you think he would realize that in all of his years of study? Perhaps we should give him more credit, or do you really think it's a hopeless cause?
The fact that he's attempting to do this on a being of such power at all, when his attempts on lesser beings failed, is what makes me worried. Now, certainly he's hoping to find a way in these tomes to sidestep his past mistakes. But keep in mind that Verilag had no such compunctions. She didn't care if the magic was corrupting of her. She didn't care if she became uncontrollably evil and a pawn of the demons ultimately, so long as she got a few centuries of power. I mean, those precautions have not been taken into consideration by Verlag. Why go after the tomes when that's the case?
That's a good point. Okay.
He's grasping at straws. He's grasping at his legacy. You are all such short-lived creatures. I understand that it is a temptation. But long before any magical attempt by him, he has already put all of us in grave danger. He's not cast one spell furthering his research, and everyone in the region may die.
Okay. I will bring up that, like you mentioned, Kevin, that Batherin is, the other apprentice does have her own reservations about it too. Does seem to support that he is maybe working on his own in a way, maybe caught up in his own research. Yeah.
Well, and recognizes the danger that you pose
Right.
to everyone.
Right.
And she at least recognizes the high level of danger.
Right.
So Taggart wants more power. Doshrik wants things to turn out well, and Batherin wants out.
Right.
Well, try to be gone by tomorrow morning. Earlier is okay. I don't expect to act by then, but I would like to have the freedom to act by tomorrow morning. And should things come to blows, Aldrich will be here by tonight. And he will simply be a guest here. And the story will be that I have been struck by his work and that he will be making me clothes. And you make yourself scarce, at least for that tomorrow. You can come back in the evening, although honestly, if you see smoke, I wouldn't return. I would give it another day.
Okay. All right. Come back at least. Well, I have a little list here. Only Adabir, Fraldrum, the apprentices, and I know about. The list just keeps getting longer. Unfortunately. Okay. All right. I thank her, and I'm I mentioned that one of the few people who've actually listened to me and want this to turn out the right way. So I thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome. I know that none of this could be an easy burden to bear. I am honored that you've trusted me, and I will do everything I can to get us out of this situation. But enough. Go before you're missed. Act as though nothing has happened.
Sure, I'm used to doing that.
and tell Kralum and Adabir and the apprentices nothing of what we've discussed.
Of course. And yeah, I'll just get up and excuse myself. Guess go back through the portal is still there, and
Mm-hmm. She leans back, and just she sits there and nibbles on a sandwich like a rabbit,
yeah,
and it's just staring at the plate, you know, um, and off you go. You appear in the barrel, the giant barrel, coming out of its side, just through a doorway, and then you walk to the end of the barrel, um, where they have all these clever little mechanisms, little holes covered in mesh, and so on. And you can just check at every angle that there's no one walking around.
right.
Um, and you, when the coast is clear, you open it, um, and then you backtrack to the door. Because you for those of us who forget, you enter from you
Right.
exit the barrel into one of the larders
Right.
of the keep. There's massive rows of barrels of ale and wine, and you step through, into the larder, and then backtrack to the door that leads to one of the back courtyards.
Mm-hmm.
You step out, um, and that same guard is there, um, and he's a goblin, and he looks you up and down and says, "Didn't take too big of a bite out of you, did she?"
No, I can't even. I can't really even think of a response. I'm just like, yeah,
Right.
tap it off and then like walk away. um,
Well, do you want to take a break here?
yeah, I think it's a good tone shift. Let's take a break now. I like how that was like when those conversations happen in Karandrin, it's like almost real time. It probably was about an hour and a half. Like I was
Yeah.
talking with her, and it's been like about an hour. So.
Right. I mean, yeah, because we kind of did play it real time. I mean, there was
Right.
no,
Right.
so
Just a couple of summaries and things, but
right.
so, but yeah, let's
Well,
take a short break.
yeah, we'll take a break, and we're gonna grab some drinks and stuff, stretch our legs, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us through the break. We are going to see what there is to see.
Do what there is to do.
That's right. We just finished conversation, quite telling conversation between Brise and Fraudrum. Um, um, and a lot to process, a lot to process.
I
So
like how the Fraldrum's adjectives down there, two of them come from the Boy Scout law, but wise is not in the Boy Scout law. I don't think
it
there's
ought to be.
sub 18-year-olds to be that.
I don't know. I think we should start working on it as early as possible. You know.
The wise 13-year-old. Okay. Right. So I just get out of there, and I was thinking that I may not be seeing Aldra for a few days, so I kind of want to make it a point to spend some time with him. We can just, do a quick send him a note, see if he's available for dinner. Actually, I think we agreed on dinner tonight anyway, so that works.
Right.
Um,
So that's already in the works there.
Right. Which means I think I'll just spend, my time just making sure all my stuff is packed up and yeah, just kind of processing, and hanging out. I'm wondering if I want to ask, when did I talk to, okay, no, it was literally just this morning when I opened the tomes for Adabir and he began studying, so I imagine progress hasn't been that great, so I'll wait on that. But I do want to ask him how that's going, if there's a chance, we can return the tome sooner than possible. Sooner than
later.
Yeah.
So head back to your quarters.
Yes.
You pack and everything. You probably didn't eat much, but you get something out of the kitchen. Have them bring you something.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at packing everything? Are you emptying your quarters, or are you just taking your adventure with your standard adventuring gear?
I thought emptying, but maybe that's a little drastic.
I'm just throwing it out there. I just need to understand.
Yeah.
I don't want to. One of the things I hate about game mastering, and I haven't figured out a way around it, is that the fact that I ask a question makes players doubt themselves or second, and that's not my intention. I am unclear.
Right. It's because I'm not doubting you. It's because I didn't think about it, and now I do.
Oh,
crap, you're right. I didn't think I was going to take everything, but I would take everything. Just that warning she gave was a little ominous.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure everything's ready to go, and then when the time comes, haul it out of there. So.
All righty. So yeah, you got everything packed and ready to go.
Right.
Do you want to speak to Nalkarth at all?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I'll really quick ask him, if he spotted anybody.
If he what?
Spotted anyone coming in, right? He should be hanging up on the on what do we say, tapestry hooks? He's hanging up there.
Yeah.
Since last night. Has he seen anyone walk?
He says no, but someone did try the door very gently.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I do not. Wait. I had a holy lock on the door. What does that do again? Does that actually? That doesn't hurt them, right? It just
no. It just basically it can basically be overpowered by magic.
Right.
By a more powerful unlock spell has a chance of undoing it. It can be physically battered down. I mean, the barrier can be burned down, battered down. Right? There is no way. If there's no way to keep it closed, the holy lock isn't very helpful, right?
Well, right. No, but I was just saying because I was getting confused. There's some spells in D&D that literally you touch it and you fly backwards and you try to open it.
Right.
Okay, I didn't mean to cast that. If I did, but no, it's just
That would be hilarious. You just, I
yeah.
feel
He's like someone tried the door and then they screamed and
like,
oh crap.
I assume they turned to snakes. Snakes slithered into the door underneath the door crack. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Was that you or was it me? Was it you? Me? You? Anyway,
Okay, well, yeah, that's not a surprise. So, um,
he says, I feel your wariness of this place. Where are we?
oh, I mean, yeah, I'll mention this is I don't know how familiar you are with this world, but I talk about the nation of Nargas, the Goblin Nation. We're in the southern part of Nargas, in the mountains. Um, I mentioned in a noble's keep. In the mountains.
Your heart seeks worthy company, then. That is good. I have heard the goblins spoken of as a cunning people, but perhaps a bit untrustworthy.
Well, no, I mean, I just say if you know how to deal with them, it's not a problem. Um, but yes, you could say they're a little less couth,
Scrupulous.
scrupulous, yeah, than other peoples of this world.
I got this weird thing on my. They changed the way they do captions on here. Used to be you would add a new caption to the bottom of your captions list. Now it's at the top. And that's what confused me last stream because they've added a ticker function that we played around with last stream.
Right.
And that's now the add button at the bottom, which is why I accidentally added a ticker.
Weird.
But what's really weird is so at the top of my list of captions, like for our viewers, it's like the one you see, Fraudrum is the court magician for Lady Meagral that I typed up and posted. So at the top of my list, it has a title called Lower Third, and it's got a hide button, and it hides all of my captions. But why is it titled Lower Third? Static text on preview.
I think Restream is having a stroke is the only explanation.
Lower, maybe it's positioned on the lower third of the screen. I don't know what that means. I don't know why it would be called lower third. Anyway, just
it's music. It's lower third of a chord.
That's right.
Restream is moving into the musical business.
As Obi-Wan will tell you, I have very little understanding of music. It's easily my biggest area of ignorance. Which is funny. You're like my antithesis, right? Because you understand electricity very well, and you understand music very well. And those are my two largest areas of ignorance.
You know what's really funny, Kevin, is I've known you for like 4 years now, and you've been telling me that for like 4 years. I think it's about time, I think this is a willful ignorance. Music, I don't want anything to do with it.
I am not ashamed to say I am openly intimidated to learn about music. I just am. So
I'm in my quarters packing everything up. I'm talking to
right.
I can't
Nalkarth.
Nalkarth. It really is an otherworldly name. It's just very, very weird.
His mama. No, give you just another ridiculous. Give you another ridiculous name. He proceeds to recite his family tree. And this is Nagulakakachi.
And this just sounds like dial-up tones.
Exactly. Have you seen the Key and Peele skit about football players' names?
Oh yeah, that's one of their best ones.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah,
so great.
I can't even remember any of them, but it's like you recognize.
Eventually, it descends into the jackhammer noise. Is this for guys' first name?
That's right. They just use noises.
Yeah. So
then it's a random interesting question. I just thought I ask a Nalkarth. I say, how is it that I guess you speak into my mind, right? Do you know our language? Have you learned it, or is this?
only known 2 languages my whole life, and both of those are from my homeland.
Okay.
I do not know how it is that we can communicate.
Oh, interesting. Right.
So,
All right.
um, what next?
So I think I am just gonna hang around. I
Did you want to go speak to Adabir?
No, I don't. I think I want to. Well, we'll see later. Like when he's made progress on his research, if he makes progress on his research on the tomes. Right now, I think I just want to kind of lay low. I don't want to really be seen too much around the keep. Have too many people asking me questions. I'll just stay in my room and occupy myself with some reading until it's time for dinner.
All right, roll for me,
Okay, 70.
and then roll again for me.
1.
Uh,
I was feeling sick today too. I completely forgot about that.
I have not. I am penalizing all of your rolls.
Okay, well, good. Someone's remembering.
Um, yeah, you. I mean, you kind of lay back on the bed, and you're like, I'm going to read, and you find yourself just continually closing the book and opening the book, and
Wee.
making a breeze. Oh no, you're
Breathe.
fevered.
The breeze.
That's the fear. So, and you find yourself just drifting in very lightly, in and out very lightly, just dozing.
Yeah.
Um,
Could
and
I, while I'm doing that, summon the energy to remind Burla that I need to be woken up in time for dinner?
yes, you rouse yourself, and you realize, oh, I didn't rouse myself. There's people running
Oh,
and
fuck.
yelling.
I rused myself.
Um,
That is not good. Not good. Not good.
there are calls for the doctor. Um, Fetch Master Tegrin, go. Your skin depends on it. I will flay it from you if he is not here instantly. And you can tell it's Burlo yelling. What would you like to do?
I would peer out of my door and just try to see what's going on from that vantage point.
Your level opens up on downstairs and so on, and yeah, there are servants coming out of different rooms that they were cleaning or whatever, and they're all looking, and the Doshrik and Tegriv are running up the stairs. And I mean, Burlo is at the very top that you can sort of see his foot. You see him, you see, Tagrib's feet go up and clearly get body checked by Burlo. Like, what do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? You're no doctor. You can't help him. Tagrib tears his way free of Burlo. You see Burlo fall down a few steps. And
Oh gosh.
tumble down and pick himself up. Roll for me.
What is happening here? 64.
There's something on Burlo's hands. But you can't really tell what.
Okay. I am it's worth going out there and checking what's happening. At least helping Burlo too.
Yeah, you run to your landing. He is picking himself up. Doshrik is on your landing and stops you and takes out, I forget what he uses. Is it a wand that he takes
I
out?
think it's a wand. Yeah, he used it before on Aldrich.
And he takes it out and he begins looking around. He says, "Do you really think you can be of use right now?" And he's just ready. He doesn't know what's going on.
Is that that's not a rhetorical question, is it?
I mean, I guess
Well, he could be asking is like, I could use your help. Well, I guess he would say I could use your help.
right. I think he's saying that whatever's going on up there is going to
Right.
be beyond you.
Okay.
Um,
I'll just retort with my nasally voice. It's like, well, it's better to know what's going on than be uninformed. So,
brush past him and keep going. Help Burlow.
yeah.
Burlow is just sobbing.
Oh my gosh.
He is. He's sort of half lifted him. I'm like, he's laying head down on the stairs, right, pointing downward, and he's just sort of leveled himself off by lifting himself up. He's left this greasy ashen stain with his hands wherever he's touching. Um, you hear Tagrov cry out in alarm and then vomit.
Gosh.
Fraldrum teleports into the bottom foyer. Did I roll what she uses?
She had a rod, I remember.
Yes.
She towered over me with a rod.
Um,
Unless that was just a random like curtain rod. She's like, I'm gonna beat you with this.
I forgot how short she was. She's really short.
Yeah, short, dark dwarf and short, yeah.
And pudgy. She is loaded for bear. There are a couple of items on her you've not seen before, including this green scaled satchel that's at her hip. And there is a pair of heavy crossbows lit by a blue fire. One hovers over each shoulder of her. And she runs up the stairs as fast as her little chubby legs will carry her. She grabs Doshrik roughly by the wing and turns him and says, "Don't be a fool. Guard the main door. Or take the roof if you wish. Watch for those two wizards that have left us. Or anything else strange." She glances at you, sort of like, "What have you done now?"
I'm just trying to help Burl.
She yells at you, "Take him to your quarters. Take him. Take him."
Okay. Seems that's under control.
You have strangely gotten used now to the sound of portals opening, and you hear a portal open. You turn, and clearly Fraldrum has opened a portal for Tegrin to walk through. She says, "Hide yourself, physician, until I come for you." He's sort of taken aback, and he sort of cowers around the corner of the foyer, the landing, and she rushes upstairs. Doshrik, sort of taking in everything that's happening, and and he ignores her instructions and follows her up.
Okay, I'll I'm curious to see what's happening too, but I'll comfort Burla. I'd rather, try to take him to my room.
It's like his shoes, his shoes, his shoes. That's all he keeps saying.
Okay, buddy, we'll get you some shoes.
Brise, asshole therapist. So there are more voices out in the hall. You've sort of left your door open so you can hear everything as best you can.
Yeah.
You sort of bounce from the door and Burlo. In a few minutes, you hear the order from Fraldrum to seal all the gates and to load the ramparts.
Oh my gosh, what is happening?
So after a few minutes, there is a a large number of footsteps coming down. It's not really a hall because what does it call it? It overlooks the opening. I don't know what you call that. I guess that's a continuation of the landing, I guess. So, but the landing outside your room, and eventually Tegrand and Doshrik and two of Fraldrum's apprentices are all ushered into your room, and you're just like, whoa, what, whoa,
Oh my gosh.
Fraldrum is angry, is heaving with her contained rage.
Yeah, don't worry, Quinn. I've got some popcorn prepared for all of them. Good guest.
She raises her rod. You realize, oh, Doshrik and Tegrav are flatly under guard. They don't have anything in their hands, and they have wands or rods or staves pointed at them. So she says, someone in this room already knows this, but I'll say it for the benefit of the others. Adabir is dead.
What? Oh my god. No way.
He was blasted where he stood. I'm afraid that all that remains of him, and Burlo says, his shoes.
Oh my
his
god.
shoes.
Just incinerated. Oh my god.
The blast clearly came from a tome he was trying to open.
No. That can't be.
Tagrov is, hey, cool, hip Tegrov, gone.
Yeah.
This is just saw the ankle stumps of my former master and his greasy ash blasted all over a wall.
Wow.
And cool Tegrib is gone. There is puke down the edges of the further on the hems of his robes.
Mm-hmm.
He's shaking. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that.
Oh my God.
And she says, "What about the tomes? What do you know about the tomes?" I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. Doshrit, apparently not having seen the body, is somewhat
More composed.
yeah. And he reaches very gently toward Frowdrum and says, "Perhaps if you could describe them." And she says, "Fine." And she describes the two tomes that you stole.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and Doshrik says, "That's a matter of some delicacy, the nature of those tomes."
Mm.
She looks at you questioningly. "Some delicacy?" As in wanting you to confirm if it's the tomes you talked about.
I have questions, but I think now, yeah, because guards are here and everything, I say yes.
Just sort of nod, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What? Oh gosh.
Ooh, sorry. She steps out to the landing and she yells, presumably to guards, "Clear this building, except for this room. Touch nothing. Everyone out." Said guards at every window. She comes back. She shuts the door. "Where is the rat?" She looks from one,
I've not seen him all day, I say.
Tagrov crumples and just starts crying. They can't get an answer out of him. She gestures to Tegrov and tells her apprentice, "Strip him." And they begin taking things off of him and so on.
Who's the apprentice she's with? The one other guy. Who's in the room right now? It's Doshrik, Tegriv, guards, me, Fraldrum, and Fraldrum's apprentice.
Two of her apprentices, one that you met, one that you've not met. And I haven't rolled that person up, but we'll handle that at a later moment.
Sure, okay. Just making sure I got the whole picture in my head. Yeah.
So there's two guards and there's two apprentice guards.
Right.
Taggart sort of half resists for a bit, but then he's just shattered, and he stops, and they just basically take him down to his normal clothing. and and she nods to her apprentice again and says, "A wizard's knot around his hands." And so apprentice pulls out from what no doubt is a pouch of holding, pulls out a length of rope, and
Oh yeah, Obi-Wan Karen. The Doshrik and Tegriv were Adabir's apprentices. Fraldrum is chief magician to
Lady Meagral.
Meagral, and then she has 2 apprentices under her. So she's been, obviously trying to dig at what Adabir's actually doing here, what the true nature of his research is. And so now that this has occurred, she is not taking any, what's the word?
Chances?
Any chances? Yeah. And yeah. Adabir's apprentices, I guess, are equals suspect in this. Wow.
Yeah. Apparently, Obi-Wan
and
apparently Burlow found the body.
Right.
Apparently, and then Tegriv went up there and saw it.
I know I might be kind of shocked, but I just want to say, is there any note of...
Why don't you roll and we'll see if you can summon up the wherewithal.
Right.
Good old self.
29.
No, sorry. Not far off, but no.
Yeah. Max is suspicious about some foul play, but that's just... I've been watching a lot of Danganronpa, so that's people killing each other and on this whole killing game. So now I'm suspicious of everything. Someone died. Anyway.
She turns to Doshrik. Fraldrum turns to Doshrik and says, "You can strip or you can be stripped." He bows to her and says, "For my master," and takes off this heavy amulet, takes off all this stuff, and goes down to this sort of undergown.
Right. Yes, that's Tegriv, Obi-Wan. Tegriv was thinking of betraying this whole operation to get power from Verilag, learn from Verilag. Doing a lot of rolls there.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
A lot happening.
And I got to think about
I feel bad.
So, she orders her apprentices to take the other apprentices and the guards to various what are they called? Studies. The sitting rooms separately. So each of our apprentices gets a court apprentice and a guard on them. And all the while her crossbows are just hovering.
Mm-hmm.
I should do like this.
That's right. Yeah.
You can't really see me do it that way.
Yeah. She's short too, so aimed right at everyone's face, you know.
Groin, no, at groin. Groin. She's that short, you know. So they leave. She shuts the door. She feels the door. She's like, "You've put a lock on the door." And she walks over to Burlow. And just a kindness and a depth of sorrow comes to her face that shakes you. And you find yourself crying. You just can't help it. And she murmurs something, and he just sort of rolls over and falls asleep.
Gosh.
She pulls up a chair. You're sitting on the bed, sort of at Burlow's feet. And she sits there and plays with the hem of her thing, and just sort of lets you finish. Roll for me.
21.
You're capable of speaking now. I mean, you're still crying, but you know.
I gotta just say, this is awful. I mean, my first thought is that I just say he was never meant to open the tomes.
I remember you mentioned that you opened them for him.
Right. I even say that, yeah, that I was there and opened them for him. He must have forgotten.
Must have what?
Well, I mean, I don't know what. He either forgot or...
He forgot. He forgot.
I mean, it doesn't seem like him.
He didn't forget. He was convinced by an expert at magic and an expert at convincing people.
Convinced of what? That it was safe to open?
That they were safe to close and then later reopen.
Oh. Wow. Fuck. Oh my gosh. You really did underestimate, yeah.
Did you ever have the sense that Crowlum knew that your priority was draining him rather than freeing him?
Not from talking with me, but he did speak to Adabir on occasion. Whether he gleaned it from him, I'm not sure.
Or whether the tome was open to that spell and Crowlum happened to come in through an unclosed door, scurry in beneath Burlow's feet. Crowlum sees the spell while Adabir, in his age, naps, waits for him to wake. Of course, it could be simpler. Startle Adabir while he's looking at the tome. He jumps back. Crowlum, even as a rat, might be able to shut the tome. He certainly could reopen it. And maybe we'll find a rat's tail burnt to a crisp up there.
Right, he would have no qualms about doing that.
He'll just possess another animal. But I'll tell you this much. Your plans are rumbled.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a realm lord who knows you tried to betray him.
Well, who thinks? If I can, I mean, I'm still crying, I guess, but like if I, you know, my thought would be like I would just say I'm innocent. It was Adabir's idea. You know, so I guess what I would say in my
That
state.
won't carry much water.
Yeah, everyone guarantee a side current. Forensics. Um,
We'll have to be very careful entering that room. He could be just waiting there to open the tome again at whoever steps into the study.
oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Ah.
The blast extended all the way into the bedroom. It incinerated half of his bed like you would cut it with a burning razor.
Wow. A lot to take in.
There's a knock at the door, a goblin voice. My lady Feardrol. Feardrum. What's her name?
These
Missing her name.
dwarven names.
I know.
Fraldrum.
Fraldrum. Her ladyship would speak with you immediately. She nods to herself. She rises.
Could I catch her and just give her a whisper? Should I risk returning them? I mean,
She reaches up and touches your face. She goes, "You're not leaving."
Okay.
And just looks at you sort of with like pity that you don't understand that everything has changed now.
Right.
Tell
Well,
nothing. Tell
day one of Brise in prison. This is what's that?
Tell no one about what we've discussed.
Absolutely.
Even if you have been told, I have instructed you to do so.
Okay.
She leaves. Door shuts.
Woo.
An old man with the grease and ash of human remains on his hands sleeps in your bed. You go and sit in the chair. What, if anything, would you like to do?
I don't know, Kevin. I don't think. I mean, this is just such a monumental thing. There's so much on my mind right now. I gotta just be processing it. I mean, this is kind
Yeah.
of my fault, and like also now my plans are just completely gone awry. My great powerful wizard is now dead. Oh my goodness.
All right.
New Brise. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm
Just sit and think, huh?
sit and think and await, you know,
Um,
any other news. I mean, unless I guess while I'm thinking, if I can think of anything else I should be doing. I mean, Verlag hasn't appeared, so that's
right.
a good sign.
Is there um, is there a miracle roll?
Oh, good, true. Did not even. I was so caught up in the moment. I did not even think. I mean, the opera.
You know,
I mean, I can't. I can't. There's just so many things. I guess what I really want is to secure my safety. Like if there's safe passage. If I don't know.
I mean, where are you going to find? I mean, I guess.
If I need to leave the keep, is what I mean. If like the way she said, like if I want to abandon this whole flee to southern Nargas, right? I don't know if I'm ready to do that. So that's what I mean. Maybe that miracle might have to come up. That's kind of my thought right now. Um,
I mean, you could ask for. I mean, it sounds weird. Did Adabir fake his own death?
That's just what Quinn said. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Similar suggestion. So that he'd still be alive and continuing his research. But I don't know. I don't know. And that's I don't know if I'm tactically. Maybe I'm thinking it's tactically, but in a way, this is an advantage because now it means he is out of the picture, and so
right. You don't have. I mean, you don't have the complication of pushing through,
right,
pushing against his agenda.
and that's why I think it's not really a miracle to have him back alive. Like it's just I think this is shocking, but we still need more of it to resolve before I can see if I need to change the course of it. But yeah, I'm just thinking of what I should do in this moment, and if I can't do something, then I would want to do a miracle roll for that.
Okay. Well,
I mean, the miracle roll might be that Kralum shows up and he has no idea what happened. And that for some reason it's not what she suspects.
Right.
I like that idea. That way, Kralum's still on our side in a way.
Right.
So I think that's good. I'll roll that. That Kralum has no idea. He didn't have any part of this. Doesn't know about Adabir's plans about trying to drain him.
Another possibility. I should have you roll for this and see if you think of it on your own, really. So roll for me.
You're getting people to tell you to check your text messages.
I know.
48.
Yeah, all right. Um, it would be helpful if you need to escape, that the Trinidos show up.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
Although escaping won't look great.
Right, and that's why. Yeah, I was thinking it would be good as a backup plan, but a miracle needs to happen now. So.
No, you could wait. We could keep playing. You don't have to do it now. I'm just reminding you have one.
Well, right.
So we can keep playing.
No, but I kind of want to do the role that Crown didn't have any part in this. I think
Okay.
that would be quite a nice resolution, however you want to play that out. So
Sure. So what we'd have to do then is, so just the next time you speak to Kralum,
or he could just show up now, and just be like, "What's going on?"
Right. Sure. All right. Roll it.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. 75. Okay. I love how long we take to debate.
Well, it is a 1 in 100 chance, right?
It could happen, and then oh my gosh, that's what I love your story about. Is that you're playing with Josh? You just threw it out there. Oh, just they sprout wings, and then you roll 100, and it's like the less attention you give to it, the more
likely. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Offhandedly, just say. Yeah, very
Sue.
So indeed, yeah. I don't know. Do I have any desire to? I mean, I guess the guards are about, right? It would look bad if I kind of left my room for any reason.
I mean,
I don't know how long it's been since they said.
Yeah, I mean, it might be now, 30 minutes since, probably closer to an hour.
Okay.
From death to this moment.
As I'm saying, do I have any desire to see, the damage myself? I don't know if that's a self-discipline role or anything in my character sheet. I'm not.
Jeez.
Right, because some people do have that. That's what I was thinking. And
closure. Need closure. That's going to
right.
trait
Right.
to add.
Know what it actually was.
Well, let's do for your personality a general closure roll. So
okay.
Roll it up for me.
69. Ooh.
So an average degree of closure, or an average need for closure, is what we should both write down on your sheet.
I was thinking more specifically, I get with death, related to death, or.
Well, I say we use it generally. If you want to do a specific roll, what we'll do is we'll use that as the modifier for your future rolls. I don't know what else. I mean, there's closure, I guess, in relationships. There's closure in.
I was thinking more of do I have a curiosity to see if that's how it played out? Because it's different. Like if someone says, I don't know, yeah, there was a crazy storm and a tree got knocked over. That's not a big deal. But just to hear that someone died and this is what it looked like.
But just like for instance, the teleportation spot on in the granary, right? You're not getting near any sort of place like that. You're not getting near his study. You know what I mean? To even go see. There's going to be guards on that door.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then never mind. Yeah. But that's so we still have the role to be moderately interested to see, but I know. So I do want to word that we do after the stream.
So, yeah, I mean, so right now what you have is an average desire for closure, and so like for instance here, I would say, so it would get no bonuses to a roll, but then we would consider negatives, and the negatives would be how grisly it's been described.
Right.
To see, average need for closure. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Given how great your relationship has gone with Aldrich, should it end, right? I could see that being a bonus, right? That I know I need that closure.
Right.
I need to say goodbye. I need to do,
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't just like
Right.
leave him on red.
Right. Um, so just sit and process, huh?
Hmm. Yeah, I can't
Um,
really go and about and do anything. I can't think of anything useful.
yeah.
I mean, I might check on Tegrev and Doshrik. I guess they're probably under guard too, though.
They're going to be under guard.
No. Wow, and Bathern wakes up. It's gonna be some fun.
Oh, I assure you, there
Uh,
are horsemen
already
already
on.
surrounding that inn.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay. Well, yep. Then nothing to do. Sit and wait.
um, you find that you've dozed off in the chair. Um, um, movement and a slight clinking wakes you up. Um, Burlow has lit the lamps in the room. Um, he's setting tea and toast down beside the table beside you.
Hmm.
Um, um, his hands are still a little tinged,
Yeah.
and you can see the marks on the plate and the cup.
Wow. Oh,
Um,
poor guy, man. He served this dude for years and years.
um, he sees that he's waken, woke you, and he's oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I, I tried to be quiet. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Um, he he's got a tray on him, and it's got toast and tea for him,
Mhm.
and he just sits and takes the other chair, and he sets his down, and he said they wouldn't let me get anything else. They haven't let me leave. They haven't told me anything. Have they told you anything? They haven't told me anything.
I say just that it was a magical accident related to the research. So I tell him. Seems he got a little too ambitious in what he was doing.
What am I going to tell Felaglow? What am I going to tell her?
I mean, I would. I was gonna say he died doing what he loved. I don't know if there's a less trite way to say that.
Being burnt to a crisp.
I mean, I just say it was the risk of his profession. Um, you
He sort of breaks down sobbing again and just sort of puts his head in his hands
This is
and
another question. Am I kind of a person who comforts others, or because some people, they kind of just don't. They let people grieve on their own. But I don't know if there's anything in my character sheet.
yeah, that's it.
I mean, I'm very like generous, but I don't know if that's the same as
That's yeah, sort of materially generous is what I meant by that. Um,
freely
um,
hesitant to use violence. Okay, I'm
that's
not gonna slap him.
not true for Crowlem.
I'm very quick to forgive. That's kind of related. If people are upset, I
How
probably.
about so you've had let's see. Oh yeah, all right, well fine. In fact, let's we're we're going to add a very significant trait here, which is quick to console the grieving.
Right. I would also know. I do like how I have. Where is it? The world is not built to necessarily go our way.
Right. Which means you don't believe there's an explanation for stuff, or you can't be surprised that this stuff happens.
Exactly. That's why I'm not probably. It's terrible that it did happen, but I'm not going to just curse the gods. That this shouldn't have happened.
And if you want to put a parenthetical number on quick to console the grieving,
right?
Let's call it a 105.
Wow, really?
Yes, because you recognize that it comes from the comfort that you got after your parents died,
right?
And how much that meant to you. And so, aside from that, I rolled a 99, so I just added some.
Wow.
Okay.
So I would probably immediately go over and
yeah. Is that the little bit of soot that's in the air from Adderall?
Yeah. Clean your hands again. I would, I would hold your hand, but I don't want to get master's soot on. That's an interesting relationship too. Like, what was he? His technically his butler. Would that be like a right service? Right, but for so many years, it kind of almost a paternal kind of bond or brotherly.
Yeah, it's a weird sort of thing.
You're so much older too, right? So
right. So he squeezes your hand on his arm, and you feel that grease on there, and it's just this reminder. He straightens himself up, clearly for your benefit, and he goes, he gestures to your tea. It's getting cold. It's getting cold, and he sips his, and
right. Let's both have some.
It's a famous short story by Raymond Carver called, I think it's called A Small Good Thing. There's actually two versions of the short story, a long one and a short one. It's really interesting. It's when he got a new editor, and this one editor was just ruthless at cutting material.
Right.
And so it's an interesting study. You can see which one you like best. But in it is a line that eating is a small good thing in times like these.
Yeah.
And
I think I've heard that line. Maybe you might have told me that.
Maybe.
Story sounds familiar. It's great line.
So you guys sit there for a while. You talk about various things, like point out the moon out the window, and
right.
And so and then there comes a knock at the door.
Who is it?
Just open it immediately. And Fraldrum is there. She looks tired. She shuts the door. You can see there's two guards outside. She, when they sort of step in, she, brushes them off and shuts the door in their face.
Right.
And comes and, she kind of squeezes your shoulder and then comes and kneels in front of Burlow. And speaks softly to him and asks him if he's okay. And says to him, he was a great man, your old master. And I'm sure he found you, of all the help, a great help. He says, you have no blame in this. Let's have the guards take you back. I'm still trying to sort things out. You'll have to stay there, but you can always ask for food, water, whatever you need. She leads him. Burlo sort of squeezes your shoulder as you pass by, and you can't help but think, there's grease now on my clothing.
Oh, yeah.
Goes out.
Oh.
She gives orders. So it does seem like she still has her position and her authority.
Right. Just Mia Grawl did summon her.
Well, we can speak freely, she says. I know the rat is not in this building.
Okay.
How are you?
Well, pretty shaken up, but I'm just glad I didn't see it firsthand. Like Tegriv.
Well, it has been an interesting day of juggling for us all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced that Tegriv didn't have anything to do with it. He wouldn't have been allowed in the room with the books. A few guys were trying to keep him in the dark. Batherin has been unconscious all day, though she's now back in the keep.
Okay.
Still unconscious. That seems to settle her innocence. The trick here is convincing Lady Mia Grawl that our two visiting wizards were not spies, did not kill Adabir,
Right.
and that we don't need to go to war.
Yes. That's right, because Adabir was also kind of a friend of hers, too. So it's even more of an insult.
Well, and the fact that you're a noblewoman who cannot keep guests safe.
Right, that too. Yeah, there's a lot. I didn't even think about that, but there's a lot stacked against her because this happened.
Well, she's double patrols on the border with Algret. I'm sure her spy masters are murmuring in people's ears even as we speak.
Yes.
There's little lost to our visiting wizards if Mia Grawl becomes an enemy. The only exception to that is there are the rare adventurers with sufficient skills to hunt someone like me. And she could set such a bounty hunter upon them. And that could complicate their lives, particularly Plesh, who is elderly.
Mm.
I am, of course, not in the greatest position as I let a magical death of a magical guest occur. But I'll find another position, assuming I'm allowed to live.
Oh gosh, is she joking? Or
She is not joking.
oh my gosh. I apologize. I'm like, well, that's never meant to bring this upon you. I'm very sorry about that.
It's hard to know where the blade will fall when you deal with the Realm Lord. I will tell you this much, that at least it will not fall on Aldrich. He is safe. He is in my cottage. but I will tell you that I offered to return him given the strange timing of his absence. Lady Mia Grawl was uninterested. She seems to think him not involved.
Okay.
So now, how do we explain his death? And how do we get anyone to believe that it was a rat?
Well, that sounds like a great question to discuss next time. It is 9:15, so I'm thinking this might be a long discussion of what to do next.
I understand. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We've had a great session as always. Um, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and keeping the chat room lively and amusing. So again, thank you. If be sure to like and subscribe. You can hop to donor box there and see that link, and you can donate to us if you think we're doing something worthwhile. You can also follow Max on YouTube at the link right there, where he discusses the role of video game in the role of music in video games.
There you go.
I should hide our caption out of the way there. Um,
I know one needs to see that.
and thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for Brice's wonderful character art that we use throughout the stream. You can see more of her work at ArtStation /Tortolua. And I've written a book. And you can find all these links in the description down below. And you'll see us next Wednesday, and you'll see where things go from here. Um, so that's hilarious. I just got a spam.
Yeah, I had like perfect timing after this, this like morbid death and this kind of
Yeah,
scary film.
it's
It's
so
like, want to
great.
become more popular.
Right. It should be like something for like penis enlargement. That would be just.
Not even
Do
better.
you have a problem with your wand? Anyway, but thanks everybody for hanging out with us. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was really kind of cool and crazy. So thanks everyone. We will see you next week. Max, say goodbye to the nice people.
Yeah, exciting session. I definitely didn't know it was going to turn out this way. I was pleasantly surprised that it was very entertaining at the edge of my seat. So hope it was the same for you all, and hope we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody.
All right.